There we go. Much better.
Yeah, it's foggy.
Sorry about that intro. Oh. All right. Well, for anybody that's going to be watching this in the future, tonight I'm doing a live stream demonstration. I'm forging a bottle opener with a Chase Decantus leaf. So, hey, What the Forge? Good to have you here. Upper Iowa Outdoors. Hey, how's it going? Oh. Graham, you're close to being first. There was two other prior to you. Oh. Good to have everybody here so far. We're going to give everybody a chance to start coming in. Jackson Kettler, good to see you. Brian Neely. Everyone else who's saying hey. August and Ashes Forge. Curtis McPherson, good to have you all here. Sky Twain. BJ Waters, don't worry about it. Oh, you can always watch them on the replay. We definitely enjoy having you here during the live, though. Oh. No, I did not get a new apron. This is an apron that I've had for many years now. Probably, what, about 4 years?
Yeah, about.
I've had this apron for about 4 years. I just don't use it a lot in demonstrations on YouTube. Especially through the summer. It gets quite hot. Oh. Good evening, everybody. Mike Bosley, good to have you here. Kevin Bunch, greetings. What the Forge? Yes, she is going to help me forge tonight a little bit.
I get to assist.
Yeah, she gets to assist. Oh. Well, thank you. Yep, I like this apron quite a bit. So, while everybody's coming in here, I'm just going to go ahead and repeat what we're doing this evening. Tonight, I am forging a bottle opener with a Chase Decantus leaf detail into it. So, I'm going to do some chasing. A bottle opener, you've all seen that before. It's going to be pretty much a basic thing, but we are going to be doing this acanthus leaf detail in it instead. So now this is a fairly simple chased leaf. Everyone can take in, everybody can kind of make this. It's not that difficult. There's a little bit of a technique to it. And I'll go over and explain some of the tools we're going to use before we actually get into the forge and get it fired up and going here. So it's essentially going to be that right there on a bottle opener handle, which gives it just a whole lot more dimension than just a flat plain handle that you would see. Also, we're not going to leave this flat and straight like this. This is actually going to be a taper down to the actual bottle opening end. So we're going to do the standard church key bottle opener, or whatever you call that, the hourglass shaped one. We are going to be doing that one there. So, Brian Rosengrant, thank you. I'm glad you love our channel. God bless you. The starting stock size, this part doesn't matter. You can work on a longer bar. I'm working on a longer bar than is needed. It's about 10 inches or 250 mil. By 1 inch, 25 mil, by 1/4 inch, or 6 mil. That's what I'm working on. So, Techromatic, good to have you here. So, I'm going to go over some of the tools real quick that I'm going to be using for the chasing. Yep, James Anderson, that's right. Start long and trim to size. So, the two chasing tools that we're going to be using to make this whole thing, this whole detail, are very simple tools. They're pretty much one and the same. They're just shaped slightly different. So, the first is the most simple. We are going to be working with a butcher tool. A butcher is anything that has essentially a leading edge that is meant to chisel into something or cut into something. And so, that's a butcher tool. As you can see, it's got a pretty shallow bevel on it. Not very steep at all. It's flat on one side and beveled only on one edge. What this will do for us is this will allow us to take and give this some dimension. If you just do a chisel cut, it's really hard to get you guys to be able to see that. Well, hopefully you can see the banking there. If you just do a straight chisel cut, you can't push it away like it's supposed to. You can't get dimension. It just looks like you chiseled in a line. Hope you guys can kind of tell what that looks like there. So that is what we're looking for, is for it to be able to push the material away from the center section. What that'll do is that'll leave this center section out here by its lonesome. Now, if you really want to take and get real technical with it, you can actually planish this up and actually push this center section with another butcher tool. Let me get that in there. Like so. And you can actually upheave it a little bit to where it stands proud of the surface. We're not going to go that technical with it. We're just going to keep it simple and flat. But that there is what we use to make this right here. Yeah, her Paige, I definitely need... yeah, I definitely need some heat in the shop for sure. So, let's see here. All right. So, I'm sorry if I'm missing people's comments just yet, but I want to get through this real quick. So, I'm just going to get through the tooling portions of this. And then maybe you guys in the comment section, if anybody asks what we're doing and stuff later on while we're working, you guys can maybe answer that question for them. That way I don't have to repeat 500 times. So, so the next tool is the same thing. It's a butcher tool with the same beveling, but this time we have a curve to it, to the interface. All this is a wider butcher tool that has been hammered a depression on this side. And then, you know, curved a little bit on the outside. So hopefully everybody can take and see that. So that's all that is. That's these two tools. Two very basic tools. These were made out of coil spring. This is like a large, like a dump truck coil spring. I don't even know what it is. It's like, it's good. It's a good solid 5/8 inch round. I'm not sure what the imperial is on that. Well, not the imperial, but the metric on that. I'm not sure what that is, but you guys can, you know, Graham, comment in the comment section what that is, what 5/8 is. It's skipping off the top of my head. But these here were made with this curved butcher. So they go in here just like that. I hope you guys can see that. Just like so. So that is what makes those curvatures and pushes it, obviously gives it that depth and dimension. 16 mil is 5/8. Remember that. Everybody on YouTube. So, real quick, just a status update. We got 69 people here, 17 thumbs up. Yeah. We greatly appreciate that, don't we, Jess?
Mm-hmm, we do.
So, I'm going to try to let her talk some.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, let her talk some.
I'll read comments.
Oh, and no one's probably noticed, but I got a haircut.
Yeah, finally.
Finally. I am pretty excited about the haircut. So, my hair was driving me insane. So, awesome. Look at the likes. They all went up there. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for liking this stream. That's we appreciate that for sure. All right, so we spent enough time talking about the tools, and now let's get on down to the techniques. So we want to take and get this piece hot, and we want to get our general outline shape of the bottle opener done first. And so, Jessica, if you'll flip the camera around,
Alrighty. I'll
go over to the forge hood, and I'll draw that out for everybody, and then you can read me comments.
Alright. Sorry, guys. Try not to make you dizzy here. Right over this way. Yep, it's flipped around.
Okay, are they watching?
Alright, they can see you.
Can you see right here?
Yes, that's in shot.
Well, maybe you should bring it over a little closer.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
I'm going to draw something here
Alright.
for you. Okay, that's
there?
Good enough.
Okay.
I need to be here.
Okay.
Not on me, here. Okay? We good?
We're good.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Thank you. So, what I'm going for is a pretty simple shape. I'm going to draw down a symmetrical taper, essentially. This is exaggerated a little bit. And we're going to end up with something that looks like that on the end of it. So this here will obviously become our bottle opener end with our little pull tab. And then this here will be the chased lines coming down with the fullered out leaf shape like so. And then up here, we're probably just going to cut it off, and we will probably punch a hole in it so this way it can be hanged. And when we punch a hole in it, it will do something for us. So since we'll have these lines already straight, when we punch a hole in it, it'll create this really neat swelling effect around the hole. And, you know, we didn't have to get any special butchers for that. So, any questions, Jess, on that?
Let's see here.
And I know it's a really ugly drawing. I promise it'll look a little better than that. Just a little.
Nope. There's just a few people just coming in, and
Okay.
everybody's kind of saying that you're doing the Chase bottle opener.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for doing that for me. So,
What the Forge says, when are you taking art classes? Learn to draw better.
what the Forge when I get some time. Which is probably a kind way of saying probably never.
Yeah.
Or at least not right now. There we go.
Would you like me to go to the anvil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move over to the anvil. Do a little bit of fire maintenance here.
Graham says, loved your day in the Forge vid, Roy.
Hey, I'm glad you do. So it'll be interesting how that one goes. You know, whenever you pose an opinion out there, you're bound to have plenty of people disagree with your opinion. So, but yeah, I just figured I'd share a few of my thoughts on that video itself. I think sometimes blacksmiths we have such a tendency to get hung up on titles that don't really mean a hill of beans. All that matters is the work that gets produced and how it comes out in the end run and the end result. At least that's my opinion. If you want to do it all with a hammer, anvil, and files, then you know that's really more for the smith than anything else. It doesn't exactly add any more aesthetic quality to work. Might help you in a doomsday scenario, though. With forging with rocks and clubs and things like that. Alright, so I got a lot of heat here. I actually got it just behind the front edge of that piece. So I got approximately 1 inch square of material that I'm going to set out, which is, you know, turns out 25 mil square of material that I'm going to set off the far edge of the anvil. So Jessica, go ahead and get set up and put the camera right about here.
Okay.
You probably want to come down with it.
Okay.
So she's going to drop you down here.
Somebody said we needed a tripod with wheels on it for when we're moving the camera.
Yes, we do.
Make it a little nicer.
I actually have something like that in the works. It's going to be kind of a boom, like a camera boom, that somebody will be able to, I should be able to easily move the camera around a lot easier. Alright, we ready?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to use edge blows. We're going to set off about 1 inch. Now this is the point where it always looks a little goofy. When you first start setting this down, you're going to have to work it from both sides because it's a flat bar. So just take your time with it and be accurate with your hammer blows. It's a little longer than 1 inch, but push that edge over a little bit. Don't stop hitting it, it's cold enough. Straighten it up before my next heat. As you can see, I kind of got a bit of a sloppy edge started. A little bit of a choppy edge. That's okay, we'll refine that up in the next heat. Alright, any questions?
Yes, let me read you some comments.
Comments, questions.
Okay, Woodrow said, how much snow did we get? We got maybe 3 inches. not a whole lot, and then it melted.
Yeah, I didn't stick around. It was like a powdery snow, so a real dry snow for Ohio standards.
Let's see. Welcome, Digiblades.
Yep.
Mark S. Can an exhaust hood be used with propane forge, or does it need more open ventilation?
An exhaust hood would be just fine with a propane forge. As long as you're bringing in makeup air. Otherwise you'll have a problem with, you know, like stuff sucking flat and eventually depriving your space of oxygen or enough oxygen. And you'll have all sorts of goofy stuff happen then. Flames not burning right and stuff.
Herb Page says, oh, sorry, cut you off. Herb Page says, where's the hot cocoa?
Oh, I've got a cocoa/coffee right here.
Paul Scrooge said, real men forge with their bare hands.
There you go.
We'd like to see you try that one, Paul.
Yeah, Paul, we will all go over and subscribe to Paul's channel if he starts forging with his bare hands. I will pay to see that.
Let's see, the Royal Crow Forge says, Roy or Jessica, what material should I use for a Tanto knife guard? Copper, steel, or brass? And then there had been some comments saying it kind of depends on what the metal of, or what color the scales are.
Yeah, I'm not really a knife maker, so I can't weigh in on that. I like copper or bronze myself, but...
Paul Scrooge says, I'm fine admitting I'm a fancy.
Alright, we're ready. We're hot.
Okay.
Yep. Good?
Yep. Go ahead.
Got me there? Alright. So now, I'm just going to come in here and refine this shape a little bit. There's no need in swinging for the fences, just trying to cue up that corner a little bit. And this is pretty much the shape I'm looking for. You know, we don't want a real heavy taper here. We just want enough to give it some shape. Good. All right. Hopefully everybody can see that there.
Yeah, that's more shapely.
So there you go. Now we refine that up a lot better. So at this stage, you don't have to worry about getting these like really sharp. In fact, you don't need that at all. This is going to go round. We're going to hook this on this edge here, and we're going to drive this corner back into itself, flip it 180 degrees, and drive that corner back into itself, and round this up before we turn that into a bottle opener end. But before I even work on that at all, I will go up here and do the chasing on this end of the piece. Reason for that being is I need somewhere to take and hold out here. And if I were to go ahead and punch and drift this open, I wouldn't have nowhere to hold it with the tongs. I got a little short piece here, so that wouldn't work out very well at all. So I'm leaving this for now. I'll flip it around and hold this in with the tongs so I can do the chasing right in here. Hopefully that makes sense. And then, like I said, and once we drive this, once we actually come in here and drive all this round and round it up, you know, it'll correct those shoulders or anything you got in them shoulders anyhow. So that's what we'll be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and flip it around now. And we'll go ahead and chase in my detail here.
Okay.
Okay? Any questions?
Yeah.
Bunches?
Yeah, let me go back a little bit. Herb says, when am I going to do a next forging show? I haven't actually been in the shop yet since the last time we did a live stream. So I'll have to come back out here and work on those meat skewers because Roy said I was going to make a set of them for the giveaway.
Oh, I'm holding her to it.
Yeah.
I ain't doing them. They're all Jessica. So somebody, one lucky winner is going to take and get those for sure.
Cameron Fisher says, can you show off the tongs that you're using?
Yes, I can. Since I got these set up, I won't show this set. These are pretty much the same. So I made these pair of box jaw tongs. This is a different set using different bar stock, but I made a set similar to box jaw tongs like this in another video on the channel that you can go check out. And I actually did it in a live stream as well.
Yeah, so we got 2 on it.
Yep.
Box jaws.
I think I did a whole video on this.
Yeah, you did. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So there should be 2 videos on the channel of these box jaw tongs that I use. They're pretty simple to make.
He says, thanks.
You're welcome.
Let's see. If you're just coming in, no, you're not too late. You're just here for the starting stages.
Yep.
Let's see. Charles Sparenholt says, hey, Roy, what is the ideal size for a first anvil?
Ideal size for a first anvil is as big as you can get it. but to be serious, probably the minimum I would say is about 60 pounds, 50 to 60 pounds is the minimum. Optimum's about 125 pounds or so. That way you're not spending too much on a really great big beast of an anvil and you're not sure whether you're going to keep up with the trade or not of blacksmithing. So instead of having to overspend on an anvil, that 125 pound range is a good range for an anvil to be at.
Digger Blade says, I am taking a break from forging my very first steel rose. Thanks, Roy.
Hey, awesome! By the way, great job on that bowl. I think I said that on Instagram, by the way, but hopefully that sold well, or will sell well.
Andrew Freeman says, you've done a video on forging a forge. When will you complete it with making a hand crank blower?
Ah, that's a good one. Yeah, I meant to actually respond to that comment. I did read, by the way, everybody who's on my channel, I read every last one of your comments. I really do. I just don't get a chance to respond to everybody, so sorry about that. But hand crank blower, that's something I got to give some thought to. I would love to actually make one of those just to see if I could. That would be good. I imagine I can. If I could build power hammers and presses and bench grinders and welding tables and everything else in its brother, I could probably do that as well.
S&S Smithing says, have you spent time talking about your side draft hood?
This here.
Yeah.
No, I haven't spent a bunch of time talking about it.
Might be worth it to do a video on it.
I've been...
You get a lot of questions.
Yeah, I have been... I forget, was it Jackson? I think Jackson's been after me forever.
Was it?
I forget who it was. It's been after me forever on the side draft forge video. A quick explanation, a quick rundown. You want the opening here, the surface area, to be the same as the surface area here, or the opening here, in cubic inches. And then you want this, from what I understand, you want this here to be approximately double to 3 times that in here with a smoke shelf. And that's supposed to provide kind of a vacuum effect. You're pulling out of this end and you're pulling more volume and mass, more volume of air in the box, which allows you to pull extra draft. That's just kind of like a real short, basic rundown, non-technical at all. Hopefully that helps. All right.
Ready to go here, or you want one more comment?
One more comment, and
okay.
then we're going to start laying this out.
I'll take this one because we've heard it before. Digger Blade says, Roy, how do you feel about us copying your items? Or I should say attempting to copy.
So my thought process on copying work, okay, is exactly this. So pretty much all blacksmithing work today is carbon copies of work that's already been done. The saying that's been said for eons is there's nothing new under the sun. I believe that 100%. Now, there is a limit to that when you start trying to market your work in such a way that looks identical to another smith's. When you start doing that, you start cramming on people's toes. So that's one thing I suggest and advise people to not do. if you like something, if you like a particular style, like say something of my work, like my copper work for instance, and you want to go out and you want to make yourself some copper bowls and you want to sell, it's a free world, it's a free market space. But to try to market them in the same way, or using, like, for instance, going to my listings and like copying everything that I said about my bowl in my listing and adding it to your own personal listing, now you've kind of crossed that line, so to speak. So really focus on making it unique to you in your own personal styling. The other fact of it is, with actual ironwork in general, there's different tiers of skill level. There's guys that can make copper work that I couldn't dream of. I mean, there is. I mean, there's guys that they're just next level. I just don't have that time, and you know, they'd be able to create all sorts of crazy forms and things that are just way left field for me. But then there's also other guys that will thump out a similar shaped bowl, but it lacks all the refinements of the last, you know, nearly decade that I've been doing this, has been able to put on that bowl in the surface finishes and things like that. So when it comes down to copying another smith's work, as long as, you know, as long as you're not trying to pass it off as your own genius, so to speak. That's one of those things that I've seen people do before, is kind of create their, you know, they've taken somebody's ideal, say, well, I've had people copy my power hammers before, and then wrote it off as something they came up with. In fact, there's a few videos on YouTube where guys have done that. And, you know, and once again, that's kind of, well, that's sleazeballish to do that, so I'll just say that. But, you know, I'm not hurt or offended at all. In fact, I'm very flattered that anybody would take and find any of my stuff pretty enough, you know, to want to try to take and replicate that, as I try to do with the master smiths that I've studied under. So
yeah, Diggerblade says, I always give credit, just so you know. Yeah, we had seen your post on Instagram, and you had said that we were your inspiration, so yeah, we like that. Yeah,
so funny story, and then I'll do this real quick. So you're all here for a funny story. So I had a company, I won't mention them by name, don't know if there's any legalities there, but I had a company one time want me to consign work to them. And I'll just say this, for anybody who's ever thinking about consigning, don't. I'm going to make a whole video, and it's going to be a whole rant, trust me, about consigning work. Don't do it. Save yourself the sleep at night. Get a good night's rest. Don't do consignment work. It never works out in the smith's favor. About 99% of the time. So there's a few out there that can make a living at it, but usually it doesn't work well. Anyways, long story short, this company wanted me to take and consign my artwork, more specifically a frying skillet that I was making at that point in time. And I had made a frying skillet for my wife for an anniversary. I forget what it was, 6 years or 7 year anniversary, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I made her a skillet, and it had a really nicely chased acanthus leaf design on the handle. Anyways, they wanted me to make this specific thing. I told them that I didn't want to replicate that because I made it was a special memento just to my wife, but I'd come up with something different. So I ended up, it kind of fell out because really they didn't want my name at all really associated with my work. They wanted to relabel it as their stuff on their website, and so I told them, take a hike, totally not happening. And so, long story short, the guy took a comment in back to me. He says, that's fine, we'll just find somebody else to make it. And I laughed at myself. I said, okay, you go there, bucko, and you find somebody else that's going to be able to replicate what I did on that chased acanthus leaf. And considering there's only about 3 smiths that I know of here in America that are prominent people that I learned from to be able to make that leaf, I doubt they're going to find somebody that's going to take them up on that deal. But that's just kind of one of those funny things about copying. I'm sure they sent a picture of my work and literally went to somebody else and like, hey, can you copy this exact thing? And to this day, I haven't seen it on their website, so apparently that never worked out for them. So,
yeah. Yeah, for those of you who are unfamiliar with consignment, Basically what it is, you'll see this a lot of times in like little gift shops and things. They'll have a variety of items and they're from different artisans.
Yeah.
And what they do is they take a percentage, which is normally anywhere 30 to 40%, and
Yep.
that's their cut of it for marketing your items in their store. And so you have to bring in a bunch of your items and hope that some of it sells. And none of it gets stolen, in which case you won't get your money.
Yeah, so remember that on the Rule of 33 video. So you start breaking down that Rule of 33 after they done took their 40%. And that's after they gave you like a waiver that you signed that said, you know, if somebody just comes in and takes it willy-nilly, they're not held responsible for it in any sort of way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not to mention, they don't give you any presents. They give themselves better presents using your muscle and your sweat and your tears. So I'll say no to consignment, ever.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a rant video. That's going to happen.
Yeah, it sounds like Digiblade seconds that. He said he didn't have any luck consigning either.
Good.
Okay, get refocused here. It might take a minute to get that heated back up. We'll see.
All right. Can everybody see up here? Okay. All right, we need to come just a little bit closer if we can.
Yeah, that'll probably be good.
Here. Hold on, ladies and gents. I'm trying to get you all just a little closer.
Close your eyes if you get seasick.
Shorten you up. I know that darn camera guy again. There, we're a little closer now.
Yeah, that'll do. Isn't there also...
All right.
Isn't there way... Is this one bring it in closer as well?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to have Jessica. This is where Jessica's going to help me.
Oh, I do? Okay.
Yep. You're going to go around here.
All right.
Okay, please. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and chase in our pointed lines first, or our straight lines. That way we know where to go with our curved. So Jessica, you're going to hold this.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Draw it back a little bit. Well, come back up.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
Okay? And we want these we want this to be pointed. We want the banking to be pointed to the outside of the stock. So this right here is just a layout heat. Hold it square.
Okay.
Here we go. So this, all I'm doing here is defining kind of where I want my line to be, and then I will come back and refine it a little later on. But right now I just want to get the line struck. And then I'll come back and true everything up. I think we'll go just a little higher with that. What do you think, huh?
A little higher?
You think it's a little higher? I don't want to make it too long. Okay.
Take it up closer.
All right, yep, let's take it up real close so everybody can see what we got here. Okay, so all I was doing here, let everybody can see this. Here, let me have that.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so all I was doing here is I was bringing this chisel in, and I was pushing the material away from the center. And we just create ourselves a little bit of a V there. And I got a little more to do over here, so I'll go ahead and lay that out real quick. It's kind of a bad angle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, got that straightened up. Get my lines together. Beautiful. All right. Now I got that laid out, I'm going to go ahead and take another heat, and we'll go ahead and deepen those lines. Just a little bit, but not too far. We want to come back in and lay out our curved lines before we deepen these all the way. Any questions?
All right. Let's see. I wonder if I'm... Oh, Corey, I am wearing... Yeah, Kind of. He's asking about my shoes. Yeah, they're have leather on the outside.
They're kind of a suede. Not really quite appropriate footwear. But we'll live with it. Or she'll be toeless. Come morning.
Brian Neely said, should chasing tools be hardened?
Yes, most definitely. Chasing tools, you want to be pretty hard. You want them to be a pretty hard tool. And what else can I say about them? So I make all my chasing tools out of coil spring, both heavy and small coil spring. And then I harden them in water. So it's a water quench on the hardening. And then I draw them back at the edge to about a straw color, and then everything back from there, I take down in progressive down to, a blue or a gray heat back at the struck end. So.
Digger Blade says, I posted a video to my channel showing the forced air burner video you made. Wanted to tell you my forge has never heated material so quickly since I followed those burner plans.
Awesome. I'm glad that worked out well. Did you use the forced air one with the blower, the actual blower portion of it that you have to wire in, or the airbed pump one? And that's awesome to know that that's worked real well for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't know if that, yes.
I guess it's the big blower one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one will run the forge right on out of there. Alright.
Alright.
Questions?
Yes. Let's see. John Lavender, a little late, saying hi today. Begun my 64th orbit around the sun. Feeling a little old. Have a great day.
Hey, congratulations, John Lavender. And may you continue to orbit there, buddy.
Yep. See, Graham Pepper says, I use a vacuum pump on mine for his forge burner.
Okay.
Let's see here.
A vacuum, not a pump, but like a regular vacuum, a shop vac kind of thing.
Oh, sorry, yeah, vacuum, not, sorry. I
Yeah,
didn't say
because if it
pump
was
on
a
there.
vacuum
Right?
pump,
It'd
it would be
sucking
sucking.
instead.
Yeah, we
Yes, that
wouldn't do
makes
that,
sense.
so.
Let's see, are you a member of UMBA or another smithing organization?
The only membership that I have other than SOFA is to Abana. So I'm a member of Abana and I'm a member of SOFA. And those are my only two club organizations I'm a member of. Alright, we're getting hot.
Okay.
Flip it down there.
And I'll be holding it again?
Yep. Ready?
Yep.
Let's go. This time, let's hold it like this.
Okay.
All right. So hopefully people can see a little bit better. All right. So now we will just continue this madness. I'm going to try to work from this end so you guys can see it a little bit better. So now this is what you would consider a hot chasing. You're just going to do everything hot. And then, this is a great way of moving a lot of material fast. The other way of chasing is cold chasing. And that one's it's a little easier to do, I believe, myself, is cold chasing. Just because you got all the time in the world to figure out where you want to hit it. And make sure it's in spot. As where with hot chasing, you've got to use the most of your heat. But, there again, the counterpart to that, you get to move a lot of material quickly. Where like in cold chasing, not so much. So there we go, now we got that refined enough. Alright, can everybody see that? There you have it. Just kind of rotate it at different angles.
Yeah.
There we go. So now we got those lines established pretty good.
Need it back up again?
Hold on.
Okay.
So now one of the things I'm going to do, just add a little more light to the subject. Now while it's still kind of hot, but just like at a black heat, I'm going to lay out my curved lines. Jessica, rotate it that way slightly. There you go. So these you can go either way that you want. You can go that way with the curve, where it runs this way, or you can go this way with the curve. I think it's more flowing if it goes this way. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to come here to the back, line up my mark, and put in a line. And we'll come over to the other side as well, line up my mark, put in a line. And there's no magic. You can add as many of these little things as you want. Just like in veining a leaf. You can add as many of them as you like. We're just going to add like 4 here. Keeping them evenly spaced makes it look like you did a professional clean job of it. So I would suggest that. We'll do, yeah, I can fit one more in there. Yeah, fit one more in there. Didn't like that one at all. It's okay, we'll just take off another little bite there. No big deal. What did I do there?
I think you turned it the wrong direction.
I turned that one the wrong way. Alright, well there's no fixing that one. That's how it should have been, huh?
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Maybe yeah, maybe we can fix it. Maybe.
Push the model the other way.
There we go. Yeah, that kind of does it. We'll fake it till we make it here. And that shows you how you can go a little too far.
Sounds like there's a car outside.
Yep. Alright, so I'm just laying this out. We'll give you all an idea of what we're doing here in just a second. Hold it down. Here, flip it over real quick.
Okay.
Hold it square.
Okay.
Flip it. There we go. Alright. Yeah. Now another big one here is if you're not comfortable with your chiseling abilities, don't do it on your anvil face. Do it on a soft, mild steel block or something of that nature. Yep, so there we go. We got all those marks laid out. Now we'll take another heat and we'll deepen everything. So you can see that one end where I screwed up. But that's okay. There's some stuff we can do to kind of fake it till we make it. Oh, alright, let's go get a heat on that. Gives it character. What's the comments, honey?
All right, let me go back and read what they've been saying since we haven't seen them for a couple of minutes. Let's see.
Well, I'll take the last 7 or 8.
Okay, Herb says, man, this is getting deep, LOL.
Real deep. Real deep.
Let's see, Corey Shire says, it's not a mistake, it gives it character. There
we go. It's a good way of thinking about it.
Graham Pepper says, good to learn how to fix as well, Roy.
Yes, it is. That's one thing that's kind of what distinguishes the masters from the novices, how well they hide their mistakes.
Prescott Stoop says, something always happens when forging live. Let's see here. Randy Nyman says, Pennsylvania checking in for the first time.
Awesome, Randy Nyman. Good to have you here all the way from PA. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live stream. And welcome to everybody. I saw that we had about 88 people or so.
Yep.
So that is awesome. Good to have everyone here. If anybody feels the kindness in their heart to share up the live stream, that's cool too.
Mike Wilson says, I'm just getting started. Any advice on a forge I can build myself? Just want to have a little fun at home.
I have several videos on home-built forges. One of the easiest to construct is a ground forge. If you just want to kind of heat some stuff up and kind of give it a go, that's the cheapest way. All you got to do is have a blower to blow into essentially a pit that has charcoal in it, or coal, if you have access to coal. That's one of the easiest ways to get started. I have videos on everything from 1-brick forges all the way up to more advanced gas forges. If you are just wanting to really just you just got a hankering to hit on some hot steel, another good way of doing it is, probably the best route is the 1-brick forge with a MAPP gas torch. You can heat some material up and hammer away. That's a great way. That's a great option. So.
Yeah, Technomatic says we should add some links in the description.
Yes, we should.
Let's see here. Martin Medolvin made it in today.
Hey Martin, good to have you here.
Let's see. Andrew Freeman says, do you close the doors while forging in the winter? And if so, does it get smoky?
It does get a little smoky in here. So the reason why it gets smoky in my shop specifically is this vent pipe is not tall enough. I have a lot of big tree lines, big bushy tree lines right near the shop, and I needed to get this above those to be able to get a good draft on it. This one only sticks up maybe that far above my roof line, which isn't no good. I need to get it up a lot higher, but then it's susceptible to wind too, so I just kind of split the difference. I do close my doors in the winter, but it doesn't get very warm at all. This isn't an insulated building. It's very well ventilated. I mean,
there's a 4-inch gap up by the rafters.
Yep.
Let's see. Tom Nichols says, you said 125 pound is optimum for an anvil. Building my own that will be 350 to 375 pounds. Is that too big?
Nope. I am smithing on currently a 465 pound anvil, and I love every minute of it. The more mass you can have under your hammer blows, the better off you'll be. Of course, at about 250 pounds or so, you won't notice it. You're not going to notice a huge difference between about 250 pounds and up. You don't really notice a difference like in rebound or anything like that. So essentially, you won't touch it beyond that bit. The only difference you do notice is the heavier it gets, the less it's likely to move, which is a good thing. All right.
Yep.
Any other questions? One last question before we pull it out and go?
I'll read one more. Joe Hipple says, I made a bottle opener yesterday. Took me twice as long with how fast my stock got cold. Need a new shop, not just a steel garage.
Yeah. It does get pretty cold in the shop. One thing you can do, I've heard some guys, they preheat their anvils. One way of doing that is just heating up a block of steel and laying it on the anvil face area that you plan on doing some smithing, and that kind of cuts the chill out of the anvil. As far as a steel building sucking the heat out of the material, that is just a timing thing. Get it hot and hit it hard. That's what my instructor Wayne Apgar would have told me.
Digger Blades, no, that's just an old 55-gallon barrel cut in half for the water.
Yep. Oh, all right, ready?
Yep, we're ready.
All right. So my lovely assistant's going to hold this piece again.
Is that angle or
nope.
like this?
Yeah, just like this. You good? Okay.
All right.
Just going to hold this again. Wrong way.
There we go.
That's why my lovely assistant's here, to tell me when I'm doing it wrong. We're just going to go ahead and get this in here. Now, if you don't work both sides at the same time, you just work one half, it's going to want to curve one way or the other on you, and then you're going to have to straighten it. So try to work both sides fairly evenly when you're chiseling like this, at least in hot chiseling. Flip it.
Straightened.
All right. A little bit more. All right. So I really got those pretty nice and deep. Mm-hmm. They're deep enough to make the impression I'm going for. Let me have that. Okay. Okay. I hope everybody will be able to see this just fine. So there we are. What do you all think? Look okay? Oh, by the way, we're up to 48 likes and 92, or, 91. Well, 91 people. There you go. So as you can see, that curved butcher there, okay? That curved butcher allows it to give it that expression. If that was just a curved chisel, it wouldn't give it that expression like you see on those shiny flats. Prescott Stoop says, looks good enough to open his beer. So, alright. So now that I got these mostly where I want them, I'm going to come back in. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to refine this line here a little bit more at a cold heat. So Jessica, if you can hold that, please. So now I'm going to just come back in. Make sure you find your groove each and every time. And I'm just going to refine this in here a little more. Now I'm not going to take the time to planish this out tonight and all that business. I'm just going to get it to where it looks acceptable by YouTube standards. Which can be pretty darn acceptable sometimes. Alright, ladies and gents, honey, why don't you swing all the way around? Go around. Switch me, please.
Yep.
Alright. That way. There we go. I'll be able to look at that a lot better now. And all I was doing there is I'm just cleaning up that inside trough of any chisel lines that had kind of got off, if that makes sense. So you know how sometimes when you split or you cut veins in a leaf that sometimes you can cross over center? Well, you can do that if you're not careful with the curved chisel as well and cut down into that center vein area. And we don't want that because that looks bad. So hopefully you guys can see the light refracting off there. That got it all polished and cleaned up. DJ Blades, we will be here back in 20 minutes. I'm sure we'll still be here smithing.
Yep. And
you can watch it on the replay. All right, questions, Jess?
All right, yep. Let's see here. John Lavender, my grandma gave me these gloves, and they don't have a brand on them, so sorry. It just says made in China, but they are warm. Let's see. Randy Nyman says, if you make your punches and chisels, what steel do you use?
I use, on all my punches and chisels, I use a spring steel. When I say a spring steel, I use coil spring. So coil spring out of a dump truck, coil spring out of garage doors, coil springs out of cars, coil springs, coil springs, coil springs. Some of the stuff for like garage doors and things, those are just junk steel. They will fracture on you and crack. You just throw the bundle away. Sometimes you find really good garage door coil spring for like small chisels and stuff. But usually car or automotive coil springs are good shape.
Ernest Crawford said, are there separate chisels for hot and cold chiseling, or do you use the same chisels and just the temperature of the steel? Okay, so great question. Hot chisel work, if you want to keep and retain your edges for very long, you want them to be made out of larger coil stock if you're going to do hot work. And so you can see these were meant to do hot work mainly. I have other smaller chisels that are still made out of the same coil spring, and it's done in the same exact fashion, but
they're smaller or narrower because they're only meant to be used for cold work. The reason for that being is even though you guys see how long I held that chisel down in that cut groove and edge, this thing doesn't get much over a water sizzle on it in temperature. And the reason why is because back behind that edge, there's this giant heat sink that stops it from tempering the edge. You have this really thick mass here that stops it from tempering the edge. Also, when working with a buddy or a striker or something, you can hold these in a pair of tongs and really go to town. Hopefully that answers that question good enough.
Let's see. Mike Wilson says, can you use things like pry bars for chisels?
As far as I know, you can. I'm not sure what they're made of. It would be best to have a test done on them at your local scrap yard. Usually scrap yards, if you get in good with them, they have like a little checker gun, and they may charge you a small fee, but they can check the material and give you a close idea of what it is. I know there's several reference manuals out there, but a reference is only as good as the information that was input. So for the person who was checking maybe 50 samples of pry bars, he might have said, okay, these are all 5160 or something like that. And then again, you could get one made from China, or not even to dig on the Chinese, it could just be anywhere. Tibet, could be America, and they make it out of completely different steel. So,
let's see. Greg Brown says, making a power hammer, Roy. Like to send pictures to you.
Awesome. You can do that through, what's the best way there, honey?
You can either do it on Facebook, or you could just email it to us at christcenteredforge@gmail.com.
Yeah. And we check both those. It does take us quite a while to get back to anybody.
Yeah. Facebook I check a couple of times a week, so.
Yeah. Mainly the reason why the holdup is Jessica checks it, and then she waits for me to have a free moment for us to come together and respond. So your message is seen, but it may not get responded to right away.
Brian Carey, nice to have you joining us today. Let's see, for anybody who's new to the channel or anything, if you don't have a power hammer but you do want to build one yourself, we have a lot of plans for a couple of different styles, and we have a website for that. It's www.blacksmithpdfs.com, and our most recent one is the beam hammer. So
the beam hammer.
Right now it's collecting junk over there. You see it kind of on the edges, but
I have more videos coming for that, but including the build videos. I'm working on those this week. It's been crazy. So, all right. So now I'm going to go ahead and clip off. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to punch it.
Okay.
So, and then I'll cut it off later. But when we cut it off, we're going to cut it off with the same butcher tool. Just kind of give it a radiused look. Be pretty neat. So now we're going to go ahead and punch the hole in this material. We are using a 1/4 inch round punch, or 6 mil round punch. This is also made out of just a piece of coil spring. It's approximately 6 inches long. So whatever that is in millimeters, metric, what, 300 mil?
no idea.
Something like that? Yeah. I don't know. It's something like that. Anyways. Woo! Lost it! No, it wasn't 300 mil. That would be crazy stupid.
150.
150 mil. Thank you for the correction.
Yeah, we're in Ohio. It's probably about in the teens, 15 degrees or so.
All right, Jess.
Okay.
Bring it out of the fire.
Yep.
Good. Set it right here on the anvil. Looking at me. Yep. Take it back a little bit. Take it back a little bit.
Back.
Yep. Forward just a little bit.
Forward.
Oh. All right. So now we're going to find our place right between. We're going to drop that punch just for good luck.
You can omit that step if you'd
Yeah.
like.
And all we're doing is we're punching just straight down to the anvil, taking it out after each hit, just not to over temper the edge, and taking it down till it hits, and we get the rebound off the anvil. There we are. All right, roll it. And finding the spot, and shear the plug.
Yeah.
Flip it, and there we go. All right, so now I'll take this back. Thank you, sweetheart. So just in case anybody was wondering or had any doubts, I had a gentleman comment in one of my comment sections that I needed to do a better job about saying please and thank you and being appreciative of Jessica. And I couldn't agree more. I do need to spend more time being more appreciative of my wife. So if there's any doubt about me loving my wife, I love her more than life itself. So that way she knows. She's blushing right now, 10 shades of red.
I am.
Yep. But there we are. Nice clean punched hole. Right there. Now you can see that kind of got off a little bit. I don't know what the deal was with that, but we're going to work with it. No big deal. I could have chased these lines up a little bit better, but it'll give it a nice, interesting detail once we cut that off. So now we'll go ahead and lay this out. I'm going to use the inside of the curve to mark this out. This is another great part to have a curved chisel, because you can do work like this very easily. All right, then we show them that. There we go. All right. Yep, got it. Any questions?
All right. Let's see, Randy Nyman, what's the difference between punching a hole and drilling a hole?
The difference between punching a hole and drilling a hole is punching a hole, you lose less material. So punching a hole, you drive a very small sliver of metal called a slug to one side and then you shear it off, okay? And so you lose very little material. And most of your material is being pushed to the outsides of that metal, okay? Where drilling a hole, you're taking whatever mass and metal is below the drill bit and it's whatever diameter that is, and you're peeling out a chip and it's just wastage. So drilling a hole is more accurate in a lot of ways than punching a hole, but then again, punching a hole can be just as accurate. It takes an extra step. Now I will tell you this, once you get good at punching a hole is quicker than drilling a hole in a project like this. Way quicker. Yep.
Yep. Let's see. We have a couple of people that got to run. S&S Smithing. Hope you have a good night.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. While you're here.
Ryan Carey says, has anyone found it hard to get an anvil of a decent size?
Okay. Well, that sounds like a community question,
yeah.
Not my question.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see here. Cool Guy says, too cold in the shop without the forge running. In for some education. Hello to all from Ontario, Canada.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. Greetings from Ohio, USA. All right, we're ready to chisel.
Okay.
Let's chisel a little bit more. Now we're not going to chisel this all the way off. We're just going to cut down partially into it. That way I just have a good layout point and mark for later on. So take it a little closer to the camera so they can see. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. All right, that'll give me a good layout point for later on. I can take a look at. I don't know if they can see that bright of heat.
Glowing too much.
Yep, too bright of heat. Okay. See what I got here. I'm gonna use my trusted rawhide mallet. Straighten some goofiness out here. For some reason that got all goofy on that end, but that's all right. Okay. So as you can see, I got way too much material here. But we got that curve around there. And that just leaves out a nice little curved bit, and we don't have to grind or anything like that. So now for this point here, now we're going to go ahead and knock these corners off and round this up before we punch and drift it for a bottle opener. So. Is everybody enjoying the demonstration so far?
I hope so. Somebody had said they were out in their forge working as they were watching, so.
Hey, that's awesome. Don't cut off no digits.
Yep.
Or smith any fingers. Finger smithing's not a good thing. I don't believe the lies.
Cameron Fisher, I can't see the times on it, so if I missed your comment, just try to type it in again and I'll read it off.
Just type it in and go a hashtag Jess to get her attention with it.
See, Mike Wilson says, how wonderful to have your wife in the shop. Yeah,
yes, it is.
Get to be the camera person, so let's.
She's an awesome lady.
Graham
Man,
says.
that made you sound old.
Oh, lady.
Like, she's an awesome gal. Awesome gal.
Graham Pepper says it's too hot to be outside here.
Oh, you lucky guy.
Let's see, Cameron Fisher says the 1/4-inch punch, was that a flat face punch or a rounded tip?
It is a flat face punch. So it's a flat bottom. That way it can shear the plug.
Let's see, Scott Elliott says, I use a 200-pound weight for a disc for striking and my 75-pound crescent anvil for the horn.
Oh, cool.
D. Martin says, do you do anything to protect your eardrums?
Yes, I do. When I'm not demonstrating. When I demonstrate, I don't usually wear hearing protection unless I'm under a power hammer, which everybody else has to plug their ears anyhow. But I have a problem with volume control for projecting my voice. So if I put in hearing protection, like, it'll sound like I'm screaming at you to the top of your lung, like I'm angry at you, and I'm not, so.
Yeah, he comes in the house with his earplugs in and he forgets, and he's talking a couple decibels higher.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm yelling at my wife and kids. It's a bad thing. Where's the dinner?
Brian Carey says, what's a good way to work on hammering skills?
I actually have a great
Hammer technique video.
hammer technique for that. I did a video on it 100% of the way. But I can demonstrate that real quick if you'd like. In the comment section, that's a great question. I get it a lot. Perfect way, I've done several videos on this, but the perfect way to take and develop good hammer control and technique is to find a place, doesn't matter where, on a scrap block of steel, your anvil, wherever you like to be, and draw yourself an X. Okay? I don't know if they can see that at all.
Yeah, it's on there.
Okay? Now the next best thing to do is use a soft face hammer, not a regular hammer. You don't want to dink it up. And practice hitting the center of that X. And you keep hitting it until the center of that X disappears. Then you come back and you redraw with a piece of soapstone the center of the X. And keep hammering on it like that. Practice on your hammer technique. Okay? And then until the center of the X is gone. Again.
Firecore, we appreciate having you here. If you would please, though, don't spam us with smiley faces and instead contribute a helpful comment to the conversation.
Yep. If you don't do that, you will be blocked. I am not afraid of the block button. So hopefully that helps for hammer technique. Check the channel playlist under Fundamentals, Blacksmithing the Fundamentals series. I've got a whole series on hammer control. Go on, honey.
Yes, you do. Actually,
and how to improve it.
Yep. Quite a few videos on that.
Okay, good. What else?
Let's see.
Anything else? 'Cause we're off.
Yep, we'll go for it if you're ready.
Yeah, ready to go. So now we're going to go to the far side of the anvil, and I'm going to go ahead and round this piece up.
Do you need me on that?
Nope, I won't be here. I won't need you on this heat.
Okay.
Okay? So you can bring the camera around, come like right here. Like,
Right
let's get them real close if we can. Or as close as we can get them.
There we go.
Hopefully that'll work. Let's see if tapping it once.
Yeah.
There we go. That helped zoom it in.
I knew there was one button that did that.
Yeah. So we're going to be about right here. Man, that is granulated as all get out. Focus. There. There. Good. Alright. So now, we're going to take our piece. We're going to find those edges we made earlier. And we're just going to drive our corners back into the anvil. And here's the first stage. Hopefully you guys can see that. You know what? I'll let this cool off so you guys can see it at this stage. What has happened here. Because this is important. I'll give it a brush so it's good and clean for everybody. It's got a little coal junk on it. Oh. Hopefully.
I can see the outline anyhow.
Okay. So hopefully you guys can see the outline there. Okay? So, what's up?
Prescott Stoop said I may need to wear safety goggles at this Zoom. LOL.
Yeah. So what we're doing here is we're essentially rounding off this outside edge. Okay? But we're forcing this material back into itself. Now that's creating that sharp little shoulder there, but we're going to work that off later on. The next heat, we're going to bring it out and we're going to have it flipped over like so. Okay? And we're going to be driving this point back in, creating another shoulder while rounding it off in that direction. There we go. Now it focused. So it'll be rounding it off in that direction. Then we will have two shoulders and a radius part. Then we will come back to the far side of the anvil, or the near side of the anvil, and we will work off those individual shoulders. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yep. Prescott says makes sense.
Okay. So, real quick, as a matter of housekeeping and getting some channel feedback, so we have been given the opportunity to have the YouTube community tab that we can take in like post, kind of like behind the scenes, kind of like an Instagram post in a way. Mm-hmm. But you know, I believe our subscription gets the notifications for that. Anybody who's subscribed to us. What would you guys like to see me post more in that community tab? Do you like that sort of thing, to be able to keep updated on what I'm doing and when videos are coming out? Or is it kind of just more of an annoyance than anything? I'm probably going to use it anyway. I have an idea of pretty much highlighting other channels that I like Black Bear Forge, John Switzer over there, like Big Dog Forge, yeah. Black Bear Forge, Big Dog Forge, Tim over there.
Yeah.
Paul's Garage. I really enjoy his channel. I highlighted Warp Legacy, Tuan from Warp Legacy on one of my posts. But I plan on kind of highlighting other creators that I find that I like, that I think other people would enjoy their content in that community post.
Prescott Stoop says, it's kind of neat and I like it.
Okay.
Mark S. says community tabs for classes and events, so maybe use that as an announcement.
Yep, I like that. Like that idea for announcements.
Martin says, mine? Question mark. He's been posting some videos over at his channel. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I'll check out. I haven't been on YouTube a whole lot lately watching videos. If anything, I get maybe 5 minutes in where I'll watch a real quick one or something, but I ain't been on YouTube a whole lot.
Let's see. Cameron Fisher says, please don't stop the notifications. I look forward to your post.
Okay, good.
Robert Wagner says, we like to know what's coming up.
Good.
Corey says, ask Roy if the heat from the forge warms up the shop at all.
Not at all.
No.
It kind of heats you right about here, but beyond that, it's freezing cold where Jessica's at.
Hence the fuzzy boots and mittens.
Yep. All right, we got time for one more question.
All right. Technomatic says, great idea. I like the way you support smaller channels.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to get refocused here before Roy goes over this way. Right about there. Yep.
Right here?
Good?
Good? Okay. All right, so now we're putting that point up, and we're driving down. Once again, rounding it off, and then flattening it out on the anvil. And we're just going to drive that point back a little bit more. And I'm going to just stop at that stage. Again, I know it takes a while, but it helps for you to understand what's going on with this rounding off process. Now you see me brushing it, but I'm brushing it down below a scaling heat. I'm sure it doesn't look that way on camera. It looks really bright. It's actually cooler than what it appears on the camera. Just want to show you what we have so far. So there we have it.
I think it helped actually more when I was in the shadow.
I don't know if it did.
No? Okay.
But anyways, so now you can see, yeah, I did. Stand in the shadow. There we go. All right, so now you can see where we've got two shoulders created, and we rounded off that front bit. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Does that look good? Do, 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 do.
They're all busy typing. There we go.
They're all busy typing. Cool. All right. So now the next process, we're going to go to the near side of the anvil, and we're going to take off these corners by holding it down at an angle like this and hammering on top and rocking it forward. And that's how we're going to radius those off. We want this to be nice and cylindrical when we go ahead and punch and drift this in order to create the actual bottle opener in. Because the way that I'm going to be doing this bottle opener in is I'm actually just going to punch a round hole and then just drift it with that punch and then just keep hammering on this till I get a bigger and bigger loop. So I want this radius here to be all round so it doesn't fight me. Hopefully that makes sense. And we'll get moving. Questions, comments?
Let's see. We had about 12. Looks good.
Awesome.
Let's see. Working with Iron says hello. You're joining us.
Working with Iron?
Yeah, you're joining us towards the tail end, but we're still working on our bottle opener.
Yep.
Mike Wilson said, so glad I found your channel. Love it.
Awesome, Mike Wilson. Good to have you here. So I'll go ahead and point this out here real quick to anybody who's a new subscriber to the channel. We are almost approaching a total of 12,000 subscribers, which is way totally awesome. And I just want to let everybody know that I appreciate each and every last one of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching the videos on the daily. I hope everybody is finding those helpful. I do enjoy teaching. It's kind of my passion, my hobby right now, other than making, good ironwork. Just blacksmithing in general is my passion. So I really am flattered that so many people would enjoy watching my content enough to show up on the daily, especially my dedicated, hardcore inner sanctum of subscribers. And you guys know who you are there. You've been commenting ever since day number 1 and just sewing into the community, and I appreciate you all very much. Jessica and I both do.
That's right, we do. I got a couple of questions here.
Okay, go ahead.
Andrew Freeman says, is there a difference between drifting a line to expand the opener versus drifting a circle? I've seen videos both ways.
The main difference is, so slot punching first, then drifting open, gives you a quicker opening. It makes it a little quicker to actually get to your final dimension. And in some cases, it's not practical to drift, let's say, from, to punch like an 1/8 inch hole in something and then drift it to 2 inches in diameter. So in a lot of cases, slot punching is used whenever you need something that is like borderline like 1 inch and up. So anything where you need a hole that's about 1 inch around diameter, inside diameter, and up, you want to use a slot punch. It just makes it go quicker. It makes the drifting process go quicker. Hopefully that makes sense. As far as advantages, that's really the only one. The only difference in the two, and I went over this in a previous bottle opener video, the only difference in the two is you have to make sure that you have enough material around that slot punched hole, even material on the top and on the sides, and we're assuming the bottom is connected to something, so we're not going there, but you want equal amounts of mass of material around that in order so that you don't thin the top edge of the bottle opener if you do a slot punched hole. If you do a round punched hole like I'm about to do in the next heat or so, you want to make sure that that area is round before you start, and then it drifts evenly all the way out. Hopefully that makes sense. But in a slot punched hole, it has a tendency to thin out at the top of the slot punch. Hopefully that answered. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Questions? Any other?
Let's see.
Good?
Sure, I'll read the
We got
most
time
one.
for one more?
All right, Dan Boyle says, "Hey Roy, 12,000 subs was, let's see, 12,000 subs is where Alex Steele was when I first started watching him, and right after I took a class with him, his channel shot way up. So when do you want me to come down for a class? Oh, LOL."
As soon as possible. As soon as I get some classes together. Yeah, I remember watching Alex Steele's channel blow up like that. Really exciting stuff. He's putting he has put a lot of effort into the editing and the quality of his videos. That is right now not surpassed on YouTube as far as blacksmithing is concerned. There's only 2 guys I would say that probably would run real good close competition. Would be John Neiman Tools. I don't know if anybody's seen them. You may want to check them out. Like the Northmen or something. They kind of got more of they got a cinematic vibe to everything they do. And then Taborg, I think it's Taborg Amen. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but anyways, I think everybody knows who I'm talking about. I call him Taborg, but I know that's not the right way of saying it. But anyways, he's got really good video quality as well. He's kind of like a silent channel, which is kind of neat because he can still explain everything without explaining anything.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. It takes a lot of work. He's got good cinema, good film elements there.
All right, to the anvil.
All right, yep, we're ready.
All right.
All right. Was that all the questions, all the comments? Yeah.
Yeah, some other
still
things
coming
here
in?
and there.
Okay. All right, so we're going to be here, honey, so you need to pull it all the way around.
All right.
So here, I'll move you guys around.
Okay. Hang on.
We're going to be on the near side now of the anvil. Are you zoomed in?
Mm-hmm. That's zoomed in, yeah.
Is that the zoomed in bit? Okay.
It is.
All right, now we're going to set these corners on the anvil's face. And we're going to just pull up as we hammer. Keep it round. And you know that you got it quite round when it starts kind of slipping off the anvil on you.
Len Blacksmith, yes, that's the guy Roy's talking about. And Mike Wilson says, why different sides?
Why different sides? Of the anvil?
Yes.
Because it's hard to get this bottom corner. I can support the bottom corner easier on this side of the anvil than I can tilt this thing up and hammer on the corner. It takes more accuracy. I can do it this way, but it takes more accuracy to hit this corner that way than to just support it on the anvil and hit from the top here. Doing it over here is a lot more difficult because now you're doing back face blows, and it's a weird way to hold your hammer in order to do the work, versus coming up straight up and down like this in the same plane. It's easier that way, at least for me. You most certainly are welcome to try it on the other side of the anvil, and that may be more comfortable for you. Did I answer the question?
Yes, that did. Very good explanation.
Okay. So there we go. So now we kind of got that rounded off. I'm going to have to take a little bit more and dress that out a little better. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and roll off that edge again. We'll take another heat on it and dress that out a little bit better.
Uncle Buck's Forge, glad you stopped in for a minute.
Yeah.
I hope you have some fun Christmas shopping.
Okay. So, for people that, so going back to the community tab, my real goal for that is I would like to highlight other creators in that community tab, their posts, some of the things like that, the guys that I subscribe to, the people I watch on the regular, things like that. But one of the main criteria I'm looking for there are people who are interested in sewing into the blacksmithing community as a whole. So, you know, that's what's going to get, if it's a video that I like, it's at random. There's no special privileges of anybody that I don't like any one person any more than the others. I just plan on using that to say, hey, I like this video. I think you guys would like it too. And I'll put it out there and watch it. So, you know, I want to make sure that I get that out there so anybody who's watching this on the replay that may watch that and say, well, Roy's never featured me or this or that, don't take offense to that at all. Maybe I haven't even seen a video that's there. That's one of those other things. Do you post regularly enough? Are you worth my subscribers that come and watch me on the daily? Do you have similar content that the subscribers that watch this channel would enjoy over at your channel? And those are kind of the things I'm looking for. Subscriber numbers don't matter. I don't really care how many subscribers you have or how many videos you have, so to speak, just as if you're trying to put out the effort for the blacksmithing community out there on the web. So that's what I'm hoping for the community tab.
Yeah, so many awesome comments coming in, guys. Let me pick one to read here. Inspiratus says, I used to think Roy talked too much, lol, but then I went and tried to make tongs, and only his video provided the step-by-step instructions I needed to understand all the steps. You're not the only
That's
one
what
who
you
said
get,
that.
Inspiratus. I appreciate it. You know, in all honesty, ladies and gents, I probably do talk too much. But there's value in the words that I am putting out there. So, and, you know, God forbid there'll be ever a day that I decide that I don't care enough to teach anybody anymore. Or I start keeping the knowledge that's in here that people have taught me, and I don't start sharing that with other people. And part of that, sorry, you don't learn calculus by watching a guy do calculus. You learn calculus by an instructor or a teacher telling you how to do calculus. I don't know how to do calculus, so you know that's an irrelevant point. But kind of one of those things. You learn to read by somebody walking you through the process of teaching you how to read. And that's kind of my channel. I hope to do that with everybody and continue that type of effort going forward.
Working with Iron says, what do you like to watch, forging-wise, projects and whatnot?
Watching-wise. Right now, I haven't had a whole lot of time to watch anything for project-wise, so to speak. So, you know, I really enjoy watching traditional work. There's that tricky word, traditional work. I'll try to sum that up a little bit better. Work that is being done by like strikers, you know, like teams of guys working on a particular process using, you know, nothing but hammers and anvils and, you know, tooling to overcome certain obstacles. My main thing that I like watching more than anything else is forging, good forging dimension. If somebody can forge something to dimension and have it come out very clean looking in the end result right off the anvil, I'm impressed, and I like to watch that type of content. As far as tutorials, I haven't found a whole lot of tutorials that I enjoy online in blacksmithing, but, you know, yeah, I guess that's my answer to that. Okay. I run out of things to say.
Alrighty.
I know, shocking.
Shocking. Here's a technical question. Prescott Stoop says, is it difficult to do ornamental work on both sides of flat material?
Yes and no. So one way of getting around that, hold on here, perfect case in point. This is where Roy's going to talk a lot, but you'll learn a lot. One of the best ways to do something like that is to have a scrap piece of copper laying around, or a softer material than the work that you're working on, and it distorts the underside of that material less. So say you wanted a two-dimension thing, if you have a copper block, I've seen a copper block used before, you can use wooden blocks. That does have a tendency to distort stuff, you know, burn away and blow out. But the easiest way is to back it up with some copper. So say you have something on the front that you don't want to be destroyed. Usually steel is tough enough that if you lay it on a piece of copper, the copper will deform and not the steel. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you got time for one more, I'd like to read this one. I think you'll like it.
One more.
All right. Mike Lakeman says, as a pagan, I normally dislike Christians because of the Christians I know being overpowering and ignorant. But you are one of a kind, very inspiring and interesting.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Thank you. I am a Christian. Love God with all my heart. Love Jesus, absolutely. But I understand there's other world faiths out there. I understand there's other belief systems. I understand there's people from all types and colors and classes and creeds out there. And, you know, I like to keep my channel centered around, although I'm a Christian, I believe in good quality family content on this channel. You're not going to hear me cussing and throwing wingdings and pitching fits about politics or any of that garbage on this channel. And the reason for that being is I'm here for the love of the craft of blacksmithing, and I'm here for anybody who shares that common interest of the love of the craft of blacksmithing, regardless of what walk of life you're from. So, you know, we're all from some type of life. We've all had some sort of walk or a past or history. Things. I have plenty of stuff in my closet that I'm not proud of, you know, that I've done in my life that, you know, I'm not going to share with the entire World Wide Web, but, you know, I have those things, and so I don't look down at anybody who is walking a different walk than me. So, but I really appreciate that comment, and I'm so glad to have you part of the channel. What was his name again? Mike?
Was it Mike? To it. Sorry, there's been a couple of comments here. Yes, Mike.
Mike, what was his last name?
Lakeman.
Mike Lakeman, thank you for the great comment. God bless you.
All right, is it hot?
Yep, it's hot enough. Let's do this thing. And then you can read me some more comments.
Okay.
Well, you go ahead and read me some comments while I'm doing this.
All right.
All I'm doing is just rounding this up a little bit better.
Mike Wilson says, where can I get some teaching?
What kind of teaching?
Blacksmithing, I'm imagining.
If you're looking for blacksmithing courses and stuff, one of the best ways to take and do that, you can just do a search on blacksmith classes on the World Wide Web. That's a great way of doing it. Abana has a directory of different like blacksmithing schools and things of that nature that offer courses in blacksmithing. You can go check out on their website, I believe.
Yeah, abana.org.
Yep, abana.org. You can, if you're in the Ohio area or within the Quad State region of Ohio, you can take and get you can come down to SOFA. There's classes there as well. And it won't focus. Anyways, it's not focusing. There you guys. You can see I still got a little bit more work to do, but we're going to call that good. And we're going to take care of that in the final shaping. So now I'm going to go ahead and punch a hole in the center, and then we're going to slowly hammer that bigger and bigger and bigger.
Ernest Crawford said, I've watched a lot of videos on drawing out still and still can't get the hang of it. Any pointers for me?
To draw out material, so go back to the basics. Go back to the basics. And when I say that, start on the flat of the anvil. Work on hammer control. Progressively moving towards the tip of the material or down the stock as you're tapering it, okay? Start there. There's a lot of different form things that you can get into. There's a lot of different drawing out styles you can get into. It's a slew. There's a gamut out there of different techniques and hacks and ways of doing this, that, what have you. But the easiest form is to start at the basics, which is on the flat of the anvil, and progressively move your hammer after each blow forward. Advance it forward towards the tip of the piece. And just practice doing that. There. You don't have to lift the piece any at it. You can just draw one-sided taper. A asymmetrical taper is perfectly fine to take and start practicing pulling out tapers. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Prescott Stoop says, I got the spike tongs a few days ago. They are built so well, and both my little boys are waiting to use them. Thanks again, Roy.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Glad you got it. You are very welcome, Prescott.
Roman Montalongo says, what gloves do you use?
What?
What gloves do you use?
Gloves, I use these Tillmans. They're Tillmans. 1414Ls. Tillmans 1414Ls. I picked these up at my local Weiler welding supply. This isn't a plug for them, but I guess it kind of is. It's where I buy them at.
They're available online as well.
And these so far, I can totally wholeheartedly recommend these to anybody to take and use these. I've had this set of gloves now for 6 months, and they've held up well. I go through gloves, and I have went through gloves, up to 1 pair a month until I got to these. They're just made of really good quality leather, so they hold up well. All right.
Is the metal hot yet?
Yep, we're good to knot. We're ready to punch this.
All right.
Oh.
Do I need to hold anything
you
for
just
you?
go right here. I can do it. It's fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and punch this. We'll go fairly quick with it here. So through the legs it goes. Hopefully they can see this. Aiming for center, roughly. Won't stop till I get it. Flip it over. Find my bullseye. Got that through. We'll dress that up a little bit. Hopefully you can see that. So now, go take another heat on it, and I'm going to drive this punch through the piece as my first drift. All right, questions?
All right.
Any questions on that? Sorry it's taking me a while. I'm trying to answer questions and do everything at the same time.
Let's see. Graham says, looking good.
Good, good, good.
X-Pool Guy says, I tend to move the piece and hammer in the same spot. Gives me better accuracy and control.
Yep, that's a great way of doing it. That's one of those techniques. I find that that's very hard for a beginner to learn, though, to do. They're so wobbly with a hammer blow anyhow, it's hard for them to just keep it in one spot. That's where I practice with drawing the X If you want to do that, that's a great way to improve and hammer your accuracy. And you hammer in one spot and draw the piece. The way a guy, that's a great point, I'll just point it out. A guy by the name of Dennis Gilkey taught me that with the X technique. And he pretty much, he called it out. He showed me what I was doing wrong. So all the time I had, self-taught, I drew it out where I moved the hammer. My accuracy suffered quite a bit. But what he taught me is this is labor, this is management. Labor, management. So this tells this what it's going to hit. So hopefully that is easy to remember. Labor, management. Labor, management.
Uncle Buck's Forge says, punching holes is so cool. I'm still amazed when I do it.
Oh yeah, it's a fun thing to do, I really enjoy the process, and I like the look too. All right, we're ready to come out.
Okay.
We're gonna be right here, babe.
Okay.
So, all right.
Okay.
I'll take this over here. Take it part of the way through. Knock it out. We'll cool the punch just slightly. Pull it again. So there you all can see. Hopefully, somewhat.
Yeah, it doesn't like focusing too well tonight.
Woo! Alright, well, it won't focus worth nothing, but you guys can tell there's a hole there. We'll go ahead and heat this up again. So, one thing I'll say real quick before you give me another comment.
Okay.
Whenever you're drifting something, take your time. Take your time. Too many guys try to get something done in one heat. Don't worry about getting stuff done in one heat. This isn't a race. You're worried about the end product and how it looks. So take your time. You have to take your time. You have to remember you're making that metal do something it really doesn't want to do. So give it the time it takes. Keep your heats good and high and hot on it. Right.
All right. Let's see. Cameron Fisher says, do you ever use beeswax to drift from sticking to what you're working on?
Usually not. The only time I use any sort of lubricant on a punch is in the making of hammers, and that is just because the piece tends to get so ungodly hot after just a few moments of being deep down inside of a hammerhead. And that's the only reason why I'll use a lubricant per se. It's more of a coolant oil as a coolant, and then put it down in there for that purpose only.
Digger Blade says, I don't think people realize that finesse is a big part of blacksmithing. It isn't all brute strength.
Exactly. It is a lot about finesse. Speaking of finesse, I'm going to finesse my way over here and find my drift I'm going to be using.
Gunnar Gross, glad to have you joining us. We are making a bottle opener.
Yep. Here's a stainless steel drift I made in another video. So I'm going to just use that to enlarge it after I get it just a little larger with this punch first.
Inspiratus says, at first I was trying to shear the slug out of the hole fresh out of the forge. It's too hot.
Yep, you gotta let it cool down. Right. And so now you guys can see how that's coming along. I think this thing's going to look pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's good. They're not nice.
All right.
Let's see. Jim Bob the Impaler says, a serious question. Making hammers. Have you ever drove a drift through one, only to hear the hammer make a cracking noise, with the eye being the only cooler part?
With the what? Say that again.
No. Okay, let's read it again.
Sorry, I
see.
didn't catch it all.
Have you ever drove a drift through a hammer only to hear the hammer making a cracking noise, with the eye being the only cooler part?
I have heard that, and some of that can be the actual drift sticking and then unsticking, and it's making a noise to it. I don't know how to replicate that, but it's kind of like a scooch noise is where that comes from. There's been cases where somebody has drifted it too cold and it cracked or end up snapping because they had a really large grain growth or something like that. But that's pretty rare for a hammer to split in half. But as far as the cracking noise, it's usually from the drift sticking and then scooching, scooching, scooching. One of those sort of deals. You may want to try to make sure your drifts are good and smooth. That'll help avoid that. And then if it's a deep hammer, like I said, I put oil on my drifts whenever I'm drifting on deep stuff like that, more to keep the tool cool than anything else. But that may help with it too as well.
Let's see, Cameron Fisher says, I'm going to take a wild guess and ask if the large drift is coil spring too.
A large what?
The large drift, is it coil spring?
Nope. The large drift is made out of a piece of stainless steel. No purpose behind this other than I just wanted to make a drift out of stainless steel. I wanted to see how well it would hold up under hammer blows and work, and it holds up really well working with mild steel, to drift out mild steel.
MN Picker says, have you ever used slag as lube in drifting?
Nope, never used slag as lubrication for drifting. So once again, remember, you're making this metal do something it does not want to do. Take your time with this. Be genteel. There we go. So I'm just going up and up and up the drift. Nothing special about this. Just going up and up on the drift, rotating each heat, doing a different side. Questions?
Yes. Let's see. Jim Bob the Impeller about the hammer said, the hammer itself was cracking on me. I was redoing a ball peen into a hatchet, needed the eye a little bigger, and the side cracked and the peen broke off. I have made 3 others without issue.
Most likely some grain growth there, I would imagine. The other thing you could do, other thing that may have happened is you may have worked it too cold at some point during the forging process, at a random moment. And I say too cold, it could have not even looked cold, but maybe it was too cold and you found a weak point in that ball peen. So, I guess it would depend on how the material looked after it snapped off, if there was grain growth or not.
Prescott Stoop says, is it important to keep your drifts well polished?
I have heard an argument both ways on this. I haven't really found a reason to. I mean, no sooner you're done polishing it, you're going to shove it through this, dirty piece of material, and it's going to scooch around and mess up your polish work anyhow. I don't find a need to. The theory on it is the smoother it is, the slipperier it makes it to go through the hole. I do say make it fairly smooth. I mean, you don't want to have a bunch of rough bumps in it. Don't do that because then it makes it harder to drift it. But as long as it's fairly smooth, this is about the only requirement.
Techronmatic, are we going to see you crack a beer for the grand finale?
Nope, absolutely not.
I'm afraid we don't have bottles of any kind around here.
Nope, I don't drink Coke, I don't drink beer. I'm a bad, bad guy.
Just coffee.
Just coffee.
Gotta stay warm somehow. Mike Lakeman says, have you ever forged Damascus?
Yes, I have. A few times.
Just not on video yet.
Just not on video. Right. We'll take it for another heat here. Just another run.
Okay.
You're fine. All right. All right, so now that's good enough. We're going to be able to work that on the horn and work off any unevenness we got here. You should really be like there when you do it. So, but anyways, so now you guys can see this area here had a tendency to thin a little more. We're going to go to this area here on the horn, thin it out a little bit, and keep working this out a little bit bigger now on the horn. There we go. We're getting close. I think that's going to make a very pleasing looking bottle opener.
It will.
Yep.
Let's see here. Prescott Stoop says, get this man a bottled coffee.
Bottled coffee. There you go. Yeah, I had thought about that when we went to the grocery store earlier today about picking up some beer just so this way I could crack open a bottle. I wouldn't ever drink any of the beer though, so it's kind of a moot point.
Ghost Honda says, how do you check if your bottle opener works?
Well, I'm going to catch flack for this. Essentially, if you forge the inside diameter of that round bottle portion there to 1 inch in diameter, and then you squat it down to about half that diameter, which creates that standard church key look, and put a pull tab on it, it's going to open a bottle every time. Every time. So, I have done Coke bottles before, and I just do it by memory, and I know it'll work. So, I know that sounds bad. I'm sure I'm going to catch flack for that, but people saying no way. But I can prove it maybe in another video.
Digger Blade says, how thick is the material? Or what size stock did you start with?
I started with 1/4 inch by 1 inch flat stock. And that's 6 mil by 25 mil. And I think I started with roughly a 10-inch piece. Or 250 mil long piece. But I'm not using all of it. It was just a piece of scrap.
Alright, Ben Aguilar says, just subscribe to your channel. I've been to SOFA 3 times. Hope to see you and your wife there next year and learn a bit from you. You seem to be a very good teacher.
Why, thank you, Ben Aguilar. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. So, yeah, it would be nice to meet you there next year. It'd be nice to meet most of my subscribers there next year. That would be awesome. We got to get us a tent, like a Christ Centered Ironworks tent, so this way everybody can hang out and like do forging together and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we're good and
All right,
hot.
ready?
Yep, we need to go to the horn here.
Okay.
So
Will this work or is this in your way?
No, I'm gonna bring you right around here, so this way I can do what I need to do. Okay, I think we're close enough. Well, I hope this will focus fine once I get to hammering. We'll see.
It seems to focus better in the far away mode.
Yeah.
Is what that is, I think. But
Okay. Alright, now we're going to work this thicker portion over the horn. So I'm going to start up here by the handle, being careful, and work towards the front of the bottle opener. And then we'll do the same on the other side. A little less hammering on this side, because if you remember, it was already thinned out until we get these mainly even. And then I'm just going to go ahead and give this a straighten on the anvil face. Once again, you want to not hit in the same place twice when you're doing this. Otherwise, you'll leave flat spots. And this is starting to get too cold to really be worked anymore, so I'm going to heat it back up. This all straightened out. Push the loop wherever I need it. Hopefully you guys can see that. So what I'm attempting to do here is I'm trying to get this to the same thickness as this side.
Okay.
Look good?
Yeah, it's coming along.
All right.
Pool Guy X, when and where is SOFA? So if you're in the area, they have a monthly meeting.
First Saturday of every month,
Yep.
unless it's on a holiday.
Yeah, if you want to come out to their main blacksmith conference, that is the 4th weekend in September every year. So, and that takes place in Troy, Ohio. Let's see. Hi, Mitchell. Brian Daly says a 12,000 person capacity tent. Call the Ringling Bros.
Yeah, I have given it a thought. Although, you know what? I don't know if SOFA would allow me to erect a tent that big.
They might not.
That would be something, get 12,000 people to show up there. I think the board would have a conniption. That's more than it's ever been to SOFA, so.
Hello, Peter Pretorius. Your box jaws. No, Roy's not using your box jaws. I did ship them out though last week, so since it's going out of country, it will take a little bit longer to get to you. Prescott, I believe I sent his out at the same time, but he's in the U.S. and he received his already.
Yeah. Well, don't make him feel bad.
Oh, okay. You shouldn't have said that last part.
Yeah. All right, over the horn, hun.
Okay.
I'll do this real quick. The thinner this material gets, the easier it is to heat. This also means the easier it is to burn. So be careful of that. So once I got this mainly to about the same thicknesses, and I'm happy with it, I've got it shaped up the way I like it. That's where we're at. And do you all see how that's starting to get off to one side? It's starting to get off to that side. All you have to do is set the loop in here while it's hot and hit right here. Okay? And that will pull it back to center. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So that will pull that back to center. Then you got to make sure that you didn't bend it in this direction. Being careful to hammer or not hammer on any of your details you're trying to impart on it. All right, we're good enough for a demonstration bottle opener. Hopefully y'all see that. You like that?
Yeah, looks like it's in focus decently.
Yeah? Okay. Now we're going to go ahead, punch our tab, and then squat this down. Now I believe in a video a long time back on one of my bottle opener videos, there's another blacksmith, YouTube blacksmith, on YouTube by the name of Daniel Moss. He's over in the UK as well. He took and had said that he had found that the round, like just taking a round punch, flat bottom punch, and punching down on a piece of material, that has a tendency for those to snap off. I have never personally had a problem with that. So I'm going to try it with a little round ball punch to take and push out that little tab. See how I like that a little bit better. I could say you could do either, whatever you can do to take and squeeze out the tab for the bottle opener.
M.N. Picker says, how many bottle openers have you forged?
At what?
A couple hundred?
No, maybe 50?
Yeah.
50, 60 bottle openers maybe? I haven't really kept track of that number. But probably right around 50 or 60, I would say.
Martin, glad you stopped in. Have a Merry Christmas.
Yep.
Graham had said, hard to tell the whole size, Roy.
The whole size?
Yeah, in the bottle opener that you've been working on.
Okay. Let me let me do this little pull tab, Graham, and then we'll take a measurement on it. Does that work?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. Okay. You need to come right around and be right up here, right smack on top.
Okay.
Go ahead and tilt her all the way down where they can see it.
Okay.
Real good there. Okay. Good?
Yep.
All right. So now I'm just going to take a little small round punch. This is really small and round. I'm using my smithing anvil hammer. That's a bad idea.
Oh, this is the wrong place.
No, you're fine. I was just using the wrong hammer.
Oh.
So now I'm just using a ball punch to try to push out my little pull tab. This isn't really the right round punch for that. This is a chasing round punch, but it's the closest thing I have. So there we have it. There's our little pull tab. Looks nice. I can't say it was any easier or harder than just doing it with the regular round flat bottom punch, but Daniel may be right about it, you know, helping it to not snap off or something, get brittle, especially if it got too much in one way. So without further ado, let's measure this thing.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got, oh man, I'm almost good, ain't I? Look at that, approximately 1 inch, or 25 mil.
Yeah, somebody had guessed that. That was a good guess.
Boom. Little off of it in one direction, but you know, not bad for eyeballing.
Yeah.
And you could have resized this with a 1 inch drift before you went to this stage. That's another thing you can do, is just run a 1 inch drift through it real quick after you've come off the horn with it, just so this way you know that you're exactly at 1 inch. But like I said, this is a demonstration. I'm pretty sure it'll crack a beer open. Good?
Yeah. Grant Mahana, he says, what kind of forging projects would be good to give as gifts, particularly for beginners?
Beginners, the easiest one is kind of like, it's just a bottle opener that pretty much has a little hook on the end and like a little small rat's tail hook on one end, or a loop to hang it from something. Simple bottle openers like that, if you know, like guys that like to drink beer, or Coke bottles, the old-fashioned kind. Those are great. Hooks, anything that has to do with fire pokers, meat skewers, fairly simple projects that only require kind of like tapering and maybe bending a loop and maybe a couple little twists to them, stuff like that. Icicles, if you're looking for Christmas gifts, you can do like an icicle Christmas ornament like that. That is nothing more than a tapered piece of flat stock twisted in the vise with a hole either punched or drilled in it. Sky's the limit on that. Anything that you can think of that would be handy for somebody, that won't take you a whole lot of time. Some people, if you just have like, maybe if you have a stamp made up for you, that, you know, it may has a little anvil on it or something, you know, maybe like an anvil and a date, you can just stamp that into a piece of steel and then cut it off, and people want to have little keychain things. Those are all great little gift ideals, stocking stuffer things.
Yeah.
For beginners.
Mitchell, the video where I made something, that was our last live stream, which was on a Wednesday. So I made a meat skewer, and in the future there may be another video that Roy might film me doing something.
Oh, there will be.
So, let's see here. For the Honor Forge, he said he has to run. His kids want to watch something else.
For the Honor Forge, glad to have you here. Thank you for stopping in. Oh. Just about to finish this thing off, too. Oh, alright. So how many people we have so far?
We're at 74.
Cool. Glad to have that many people here. Thank you all for watching and staying around this long to watch. So now the next step, we're going to go ahead and squat this thing down into that standard church key look that everybody's used to and accustomed to. So that we're going to do off the edge of the anvil. We're going to be somewhere right in here, honey.
Okay.
About like this, and we're going to use back face hammer blows. You don't want to take and support the loop in any way on the edge of the anvil. That can cause chop marks on it. You want to be able to see it progress when you hammer on it. So you want to be able to see where you need to hit it more or less. Just like that. And there's always some truing up that you can do with it. Go over the horn. You can square it up however. We're going to leave it as is. So the main principal point of a bottle opener really is just to provide a pulling point. Somewhere to take and actually pull the tab up. So if you can see, that kind of lifts up a little bit. If you can see that in the thing, it kind of tilts up.
Yeah.
That is to expose that little pull tab, okay? And so really, as long as that tab can get under the lip or the rim of the bottle and pry up, you can open it. So.
Yes, our live streams, we try to do them weekly on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
Unless something comes up, in which we will try to be better about making announcements in the future on the
Yep,
community
using
tab.
the community tab. Yep. So now we're going to go ahead and cut this off, the piece. And we'll do that right after we give it a real quick stamp. You want to hold this for me, honey?
Yes, I will.
And I will stamp my touch mark into it. All right, there's my touch mark. Good to go.
Alrighty.
Like that. All right, so now we'll go ahead and heat this area up and just cut this off.
Alrighty. Graham asked if this is going to be sold on the Etsy store.
I'm not sure. I probably could put it up there, huh?
Yeah, it's got the chasing and stuff.
Yeah. I don't really do any small work anymore on my Etsy store or anything like that, so I'm not sure if I'll put that up there or not. I might just do a little giveaway for it.
Our newsletter. I was thinking,
Yeah.
I didn't do the newsletter last month, guys, because
Yep.
I just kind of got behind. But if you're not familiar, we do a monthly newsletter that you can sign up for on our website, blacksmithpdfs.com. And it's just kind of some updates and what's new, and sometimes it has points to a video and things like that.
Yeah.
But we normally try to do a giveaway in those newsletters. So that may be what we do.
Yeah, do it and want to give it away in that newsletter
Yeah.
to one of the subscribers of the newsletter.
Yeah, so when you go to blacksmithpdfs.com, just near the top, you'll see there's like a little entry form area where it's like your name and your email. Mitchell, what else do we have on Etsy? We have some flowers like roses, tulips, lilies.
All my copper work,
Copper
all my steel
bowls.
Crosses.
Yeah, some sculptural pieces
Copper
too.
Sculptures.
I think we have 75 items total, somewhere around there, so
Yeah.
quite a few things. Let's see here. Lynn Blacksmiths, the touch mark. Right now, Roy is using a generic cross for a touch mark, and it's just a stamp. And we're actually going to have a custom one made. I looked at it. I looked at the pricing for one, and before we recommend it, we're going to make sure we like their product and how it turns out.
Yeah.
But we will do a video on that on the future when we get around to ordering that.
Yep.
So let's see. I see you guys are signing up for the newsletter, so that's good.
Awesome.
So you guys will be entered for that giveaway.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, and by the way, on that newsletter, we are not spammy people, so we're not going to, like, hit up your email with, like, 50 posts. That's not going to happen. You'll be lucky to have that newsletter every month.
Yeah.
Because we are so busy, but we try to get it out every month to everybody. And it's just like a little one-page document flyer thing, just to keep everybody up to date.
Let's see here. If anybody, if I missed your comment and you'd like to get the question out to Roy, you can drop it in there again. I'm trying to go back and look.
Let's
here's
go to the anvil real quick, honey.
Okay.
This is hot. Let's get
All
it
right.
cut off.
Okay.
Or mostly cut off, please. And then we'll come back to everybody.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Bring it up. Okay. Bring it up.
Bring it out.
Bring it up.
Oh,
Oop.
gotcha. Sorry.
All right. We're going to go right here.
Here.
Yep. And here, all I'm doing is cutting this piece off. Alright, so you can start seeing how that's coming. I'm going to set it up on a piece of copper. Don't set it on my finger.
Oh, sorry.
You good? Set it down. Alright. We just may have to, let me have that. See how thin that got. That's pretty close. Pretty close. Not close enough yet, but it's pretty close to breaking off. Just clean that off a little bit. Add some junk stuck to it. Because it's starting to come along nicely. Okay, more questions. Go ahead.
Yes.
Real quick while we got it.
One of the questions that I was going to read was, how long does this project take if you're not filming?
Something like this bottle opener here, just because the chasing will take me approximately about 30 minutes to complete. If I've got 7 or 8 of something like this to do, or maybe 10 of them, it probably takes about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes each, because you do them in stages, and so therefore you can get more done progressively and efficiently in that method versus just making one.
Inspiratus says, do you prefer a handheld cutting tool to a hardy hole tool?
I prefer a hardy hole tool, mostly, in certain instances. Now, if I need to be accurate, I prefer a handheld. It's very hard to take and get your cut lines exactly where you want them from underneath, because you can't see how it's cutting. So if you jumped and missed the mark and you recut, then you got a double cut line. As where on top, you can always make sure you find that spot again easier.
Terry Felderhoff says, this is my first winter forging and I've been having problems with my propane bottles freezing up with my forced air forge. Any suggestions?
Most likely if you're running a 20-pound cylinder, you're going to have that all winter long. I have a 100-pound cylinder and they still frost. So they still freeze up to a degree. The only difference is a 100-pound cylinder has enough volume in it, at least until it gets down to the 20-pound mark, or have only 20% left in the tank. It has enough volume of gas in there that it can still keep the forge lit pretty good. 20-pound cylinders just don't have the volume to be able to do that. I've heard guys of heating the tanks with a warm bucket of water and stuff like that, to having varying degrees of success with that. It would be my suggestion, though, to move up to to a larger tank, like a 40-pound cylinder, and you'll have a lot less problems with that. Be able to forge longer at a go.
You want one more? You want me
Yeah,
to
one more.
Okay. Uncle Buck's Forge says, do you need any 4140? I've been burning 2-inch thick 4140 plate at work. Have some very nice pieces of scrap.
I'd love some 4140. I'd think of some projects to make out of it, maybe some anvils or something. Yeah, if you got some scrap bits that you want to send through, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Uncle Buck. In advance, if you're giving me some. Or if I'm buying them,
Yeah.
I don't know. Depends on what if you're giving them to me, I'll take whatever you got. If you're selling them to me, I'll have to see them first.
Yeah. Let's see here.
That's just what kind of guy I am.
What Corey says, what about using natural gas over propane in a gas forge?
Natural gas, you can use natural gas. Natural gas tends to have smaller orifices. That's really about the only difference. Other than that, the principle of burning is the same. Hopefully that answers the question.
Len Blacksmith, to sign up for the newsletter, you go to www.blacksmithpdfs.com, and there towards the top underneath Roy's picture you will see sign up for newsletter, where you enter your name and email.
Yep.
Let's see. Is it ready?
Yep, we're ready.
Okay.
Let's finish this off. All right.
Am I going to hold it for you again?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure are. It's the safest place for you to be.
Holding it?
Yep, holding it.
All right.
There you go. Now I'm just going to go ahead and shear this through. We're pretty much there. Yeah, we're pretty much there. Yeah. Good. That also gives it kind of an interesting little bevel, a backwards bevel. I'll take it from here.
Okay.
Okay. Get rid of that. Here. Now, before I break it off, I'm going to go ahead and give this handle just a little bit of curve in it, using my rawhide mallet, and holding it up off the anvil a little bit. And you can see it's about shear ready. So we'll go ahead and get that close to breaking off and give it a brushing. Now it's the perfect time for this. It's down below a scaling heat. Brushing it before this is has no point. Got that nice illustrious shine now. Take a pair of tongs. And there we have it.
Very nice.
Voila! Alright.
Have a good night, Cameron. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Cameron. Alright.
John Schrum, he said this earlier, I want to read it. He said,
Okay.
I've learned how to draw out a railroad spike for a meat turner from your video. I'm having troubles drawing that spike out sideways for like a garden tool. Any suggestions?
Depending on what hammer you're using, first of all, I would suggest using a cross-peen hammer to draw out the spike for the spade of like a garden trowel. And I would suggest using a cross-peen that has a broader face to it, not a sharp cross-peen. Hopefully that makes sense.
Digger Blade says, after watching this, I'm right in the mood to forge something.
Awesome. We'll get to it. Or stick around. That doesn't hurt my feelings none.
Let's see here.
All right.
Inspirata says, I have a propane forge. I'm trying to move indoors. Any advice for how close my exhaust hood should be over the forge?
Exhaust hood, you could probably be maybe 2-3 feet above the forge would be fine. An exhaust hood is going to pull the gases out of the shop because it's creating a negative pressure. out of the positive pressure in your shop. So that would be pretty good that way. I'm going to bring this up to the camera a little bit. Okay. So there you all can see it, the work. Now as you can see, this has a little bit of a cut edge on it. And you'd want to rasp that off a little bit. Well, we don't have to do that. But there you can see the chase detail in the bottle opener. It's a pretty clean way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you all enjoyed that demo. Did everybody enjoy it?
Let me get it readjusted here. That way we can. Yeah, that way we can look at the camera.
While people.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. There we go. All right, that should be pretty good.
All right.
And flip. I know, this looks confusing. We'll get it turned around.
Hold on, ladies and gents. There we are. Hey there. Woo-wee. All right. That light's there. See Josh, she's all bundled up.
I am. My hands are numb right now.
Oh, poor gal. Oh.
So yeah.
Thank you, sweetheart.
There we go. Down to the bottom.
All right.
The website again. Sorry. Yes, Blacksmith PDFs.com. So
yep.
PDF and then S like Sam. So there you go. Sorry, I know it may have been a little bit confusing, but
yeah. Let's see here. Ronnie Strong, it didn't look like your chisel was very sharp, was it? It's actually a butcher. It's not really a chisel. It would have been better if I had a curved chisel meant for cutting off. I was just using what I had because it had a nice radius to it. It's meant to butcher and push material more than it is to cut material. So you're very right about that, Ronnie Strong. Let's see here. Yeah, F as in fake, or F as in Frank. Yep, that's good.
I look like a bubble wrap.
Yeah, you look like you're bubble wrapped. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. She's the cold-blooded one in her family.
I am.
I'm the warm-blooded one, so. But I think cold-blooded is kind of an insult, though. I think that's an insulting term.
I think it is.
When somebody says you're cold-blooded, but
right.
I mean it in a good way.
Okay.
I don't want to be sleeping in the shop tonight, so. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, make a couple butchers. I want to make a video very specifically on doing that. I've got a lot of stuff coming up. A lot of videos I want to do. I've already promised out to get out the power hammer videos for the beam hammer build, so I'm working on those pretty diligently right now and trying to get all my customer orders out before Christmas and the first of the year. But I have plans for in 2018. I want to do a lot more chasing videos. I want to do a whole lock making series where I start with very simple locks and go through really complex locks and then showing how to ornamentate those for everybody out there. So I've got a lot of stuff I want to do there. Butcher tools, they're pretty simple tools. Essentially, to think of a butcher tool, it's anything that has a leading edge. Anything that has a leading edge is considered a butcher tool. It's meant to kind of push material more than cut material, like a chisel is. So a butcher tool is really, think of it as trying to push material a certain direction, whichever way that edge or that banking is going. So you could do that. There's an internal butcher, there's external butchers. Pretty much you can think of anything you want that way. And then, like chisels, they're meant to cut material. They're really just straight line. They're not really meant to displace a lot. They're just meant to cut down through stuff. Yeah, Ronnie Strong, it's Blacksmith PDFs with an S, PDFs at the end, .com.
Yeah,
yep.
You're correct, though. I did register the other domain you see there without the S.
Yep, and we did register that domain too. So if you did blacksmithpdf.com, you'll get there as well.
Yeah. John, he asked what can be used for rust treatment. or to protect the artwork?
To protect it, you can do wax, like beeswax. You can do coconut oil. You can do any sorts of oil treatments, like hot finishes. You can just spray it with Rust-Oleum clear enamel spray paint. Any of those options would work. Those are kind of standard finishes. Yeah, it wouldn't let you put the website on there. Yeah, they have something against that where you're not allowed to share links in the comment sections of videos like that. So
looks like you guys are getting there anyway. We're getting the notifications for people signing up.
Scott Elliott, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for that. Trying to get me on a knife rant, huh? You know, I may just make a knife in a live stream, but I've got a video coming up very soon that's going to be Roy ranting about knives. Yes, I'm putting the final touches on the copper utensil videos. I just finished that up literally yesterday night, like late. I barely got to FedEx before they closed to get it shipped to Midwest Living Magazine. That's a pretty cool deal. Midwest Living Magazine, they contacted us, and you know they wanted me and like 5 other
I don't
people.
think they specified.
Well, they didn't think, but anyways, they're featuring several artists in their magazines, and you know what was like the 5 top Midwest smiths, metalsmiths by their opinion or something like that. It's kind of how the article is going to be written, and they considered me for that. And so I sent out a bunch of items to them to take and be photographed, so this way it can be in their magazine article in Midwest Magazine. So I hope everybody will, you know, enjoy that. When it comes out, I'm definitely going to share it whenever it does come out so everybody can see it. Appreciate that, Digger Blades. Yeah, it's good luck on that one for your wife. You got to get cracking. I'm going to tell you, you need to get cracking on them if you're going to get them done before Christmas. Thank you, Jim Bob the Embeller. We appreciate that. He's going to give in and make us a knife. Oh, I'm going to make a knife, all right. It's going to be a bloody good knife. It's going to be a nice knife. I've got a good one coming. Oh. I'll put a comment and link to a YouTuber that shows how, if you like. How to make a knife. No thanks. Yeah. Oh, they're trying it on a knife rant, aren't they? Yeah. Not tonight. Not tonight, ladies and gents. I'm not going to do a knife rant. Yeah. Yeah, there you go, Nathan Schultz. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Oh. Yeah, I'll probably just make a knife that will never be able to be used by anybody ever. Yeah. And I'm probably just going to like send it to the people who've pestered me the most. Yeah. That you guys can have that one and only ugly knife. Oh. Yep, I enjoy making other stuff. You know, knives, like I've said in the past, they don't interest me. There's not enough forging dimension in them. They're kind of a linear way of thinking. They're, you know, flat and pointy. Flat and pointy. Flat and pointy. All the shapes are flat and pointy. Okay, I said I wasn't going to rant. I'm not going to rant.
Divert attention.
Anyways. Yep. All right. Cool. Yeah, make it out of cardboard. There you go. Paper cuts. I go into the cut test.
See if it'll give you a paper cut or not.
That's funny. Oh, well, we greatly appreciate everybody being here this evening. I hope you all enjoyed the bottle opener demonstration. Mm-hmm. I think that's cold. I don't know. I really can't tell. But so, anyways, this is what we made. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It might be hot. Is it hot?
It's warm.
Okay, it's warm.
Quite warm.
Okay, well, there you go. So, anyways, yeah, so I hope you all enjoy it. This is the type of stuff I enjoy making, you know, the decorative stuff. That's what I'm going to continue doing on this channel. But, hey, you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. So,
did you test it?
Did I test it? No, I did not test it. But I guarantee it works.
Guarantee. Actually, so whoever
Yeah.
gets it, they can verify.
Yeah, and whoever wins it, whoever wins it, they can verify. So, yeah, you're very welcome, Digger Blades. Thank you all so much once again for being here. I think we're going to go ahead and call it.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we're at 2 hours and 30
2.5.
minutes, so 2.5 hours. So I really do appreciate everybody who's stuck around this long. So many of you, thank you all for all the love with the likes and the comments.
Yeah.
So next week, what are we doing about next week?
I believe we're sticking with Friday.
Still sticking with Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. So next week we're going to do another Friday night live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Ohio time, I call it. If you don't know where you're at in the world and what Ohio is in time, Google it.
We started.
That's why we have Google.
We started 2.5 hours ago, whatever time it is currently.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so whatever time it is currently, deduct 2.5 hours from that, and then that's the time. So, yeah. And, God bless you all. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for all the great comments. We really do greatly appreciate everybody, and especially you, Peter Pretorius, for 2 a.m. God bless you for being here and staying up during the midnight oil. Yeah, it's been fun. So I have to think of something to do that's really neat for our next live stream.
Yeah.
But anyways, I really appreciate talking to y'all. Be sure to check out all the videos, the cool videos that will be coming up this week. There should be a beam hammer videos coming up and copper utensil set out this upcoming week. So thank you all for watching once again, and I guess we'll catch you on the next one.
Yep.
God bless you all, and you guys have a great and wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.